Welcome back to Legalese 123, where we are covering cases across America. Hello and welcome back to Legalese 123. I'm your host, Missy K. Hope you are doing well on this Tuesday, the 10th of February. What do we got going on today? Well, first of all, I just want to remind you that the Valentine's Day, the day of the V, is happening 4 days from now. So if you have a loved one or someone special in your life, yes, I know some people say it's a Hallmark holiday or whatever, but it's also a day of appreciation. So if you by chance do not show your appreciation to the person that matters most in your life, 364 days out of the year, this is your chance to show them your appreciation for the one day. And it doesn't have to be on Valentine's Day, but it definitely has to be before. Because if on the day of Valentine's Day, if the day goes by and you haven't shown your appreciation, that could come back and backfire on you. So just warning you, get out there, show your appreciations for the ones that you love, and you'll be golden. So what are we doing today? Well, we are going back to the Brendan Banfield trial because the defense had one bite at the apple, and now they're like, hey, we're going to try again. And so it gets a little spicy because now we're just sort of rehashing the same things over and over again, but we still have to go through it. But remember, we get to put it on 1.5 speed, and hopefully we'll get through it faster than before. So we are on the redirect. That means that the defense has already put Brendan Banfield on the stand and had answered all of the questions. And then we had cross, where the prosecutor came up and asked her simple questions, and we got a picture of what things were. And now the defense gets a redirect, and then maybe we'll get to the surprise witness today. So without further ado, here we go. We're going to get right into it. Bring this up. We are going to do playback speed. Are we going to learn anything else? They're going to tell us anything else.
As to your decisions relating to calling 911. At what point did you feel like 911 was necessary?
I guess once I was in the room, I knew that 911 was going to be necessary.
And at the time that you realized that, were you capable of calling 911?
No, my hands were on my firearm.
Okay, and so when you're saying in the room, you'd already confronted Joe Ryan?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and was there any other time that you were in a position to be able to call 911?
When I was rendering aid, I had instructed Juliana to call 911. I believe that was the best course of action at the time.
But you weren't able to call 911 yourself.
Objection leading. Stage leading.
Okay, two things. I call BS because if you're going up the stairs, you're slinking up the stairs, you hear something terrible happening, you could have called 911 then, right? How many people have their phone in one hand and how many Siri call 911, right? Secondly, remember I said it was going to get spicy. That prosecutor, she's going to call balls and strikes here in a few minutes, and she's just going to let it all out.
What prevented you from calling 911 yourself?
I was rendering aid to Christine.
Now, Ms. Sands asked you if there was any information out there that related to fetish type behavior that you knew of Christine being involved in. And can you elaborate on your answer?
Back in New York, I know that Christine had an affair where she was involved in a BDSM relationship for a month or two.
And how did you know to talk to her about that?
She was in our bedroom in New York. I observed her with bruises, several of them on her body that I was unaware that she had previously.
And did you ask her about that?
Yes.
Did you have a discussion with her about that?
Yes. Originally, she denied it and said
Objection hearsay.
You can't say what she said.
Hearsay.
Okay.
But you confronted her about it?
Yes.
Okay, and what, if anything, did you suggest she do after being told?
I suggested that we go back to therapy. At that point, I questioned her enjoyment of it. It was pretty emotional conversation.
And in fact, were those the things that you indicated that you were unwilling to do?
Objection leading.
What if any of those things, well, why?
Okay, so let's play a game. So let's write down how many objections there are. It'll make things really fun. So far, there are 3.
Were you aware of the things that were related to this New York incident?
Yes, she had. Christine was interested in, I guess, sexual violence. She was a sexual assault nurse examiner. She
Yeah.
did many examinations of both men and women that were in-
Yes.
people that were injured, people that had a lot of people that were choked, people that were raped, some pretty graphic things. She used to bring some of her documents home, so I was aware that she seemed to look at them relatively often.
Okay, and so, and I'm sorry, can you tell me what year was this?
She was a sexual assault nurse examiner. This is an estimate, I guess, from like 2012 to 2017, 2018.
And the incident that you're talking about with regard to her experience, when was that?
I would estimate to 2014.
And is it your testimony that that's when treatment took place?
Objection leading.
Sustained.
When did treatment take place in relation to that date?
I believe that we went to counseling in 2013 and again in 2014.
10 years
And,
ago. 10 years ago. She all of a sudden
As far
picked
as
it
you
up
can
again.
tell, were there ever any other instances where she was involved in something like that?
She had indicated that there was a.
Objection hearsay.
You can't tell what she said.
I'm aware that there was another brief relationship where she was stalked for a few weeks.
And were there, how were you alerted to that?
She was frightened of that person.
Were there,
Objection non-responsive.
were there any injuries related to her, relating to that situation?
No, I'm not aware that she was injured in that situation.
Okay, in the previous one that you talked about, were there injuries?
There was significant bruising to her legs, to her buttocks,
Tell her
to
about the stalking
her
incident.
chest.
Did you notice any physical changes in the way she carried herself as a result of that?
Objection leading.
Sustained.
What if any other physical clues were there that this was going on?
She had difficulty walking. She was walking very stiffly.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Now, in terms of your testimony and some of the letters that you wrote there, in the letters contains statements about Juliana being a hero for you.
Yes.
Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what it is you meant by that?
I believe that Joe Ryan was very much still a threat both to me and Christine, to everyone that was in the house. When he got up and was able to strike me, my weapon was on the floor as well as the knife. So those are both things that he could potentially have had access to.
He just messed up. He just messed up. He said that Joe Ryan struck him. Before he said Joe Ryan put his hand on him. Just saying. Two truths and a lie, remember?
So I view that Juliana's actions potentially saved the rest of us.
Now, there was testimony that you testified that you broke up with Juliana prior to this incident, correct?
And that she broke up with me.
I'm sorry, there was a breakup.
Yes.
And do you have any idea when that was in relation to February 24th?
I guess it was kind of complicated. She was very upset with me when Christine and I went on a vacation. We went on a cruise in November. I would say that started a lot of Juliana's anxiety and anger
Yep.
with me.
Yep,
On
yep.
Christmas, she went to a hotel because she did not want to view Christmas with me and my family. She didn't want to see me, Christine, and Valerie together.
I knew it.
In
I knew it.
February, when Ms. Sands had brought up the messages, she had indicated that she was going back on dating apps, and that was going to be the end.
Okay, and you were trying to talk to her, is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Okay, Brendan Banfield and Juliana were playing house inside their house with their daughter Valerie. So Juliana had this fantasy of being married to Brendan and raising Valerie and potentially having more children with Brendan, but Christine's in the way. Christine's in the way, right? And he won't divorce her, as typical men don't do, right? How many cases have we okay, I'll play devil's advocate here. It goes both ways, right? Women don't divorce their men. Both ways. But he didn't want to divorce Christine, and here he made this tangled web of a mess where he's trying to play house with both women, trying to placate Christine because he's still married to her and not getting divorced to her, so they went on a cruise. Of course, Juliana's jealous. They're playing Christmas, right? Oh, we got our child. We're playing Christmas. She goes to a hotel. So now she's just tired of the relationship with Brendan and she wants to break it off. And just as the prosecutor said, you needed to get rid of your wife to continue a relationship with Juliana. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the picture.
And
that's why Juliana was a participant. At first I thought, oh, she didn't really like Juliana. I was making excuses for her. Oh, she's from Brazil. She doesn't really know things, la, 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 la. No. Now that I'm looking at it, now that I see these things, I think she is a willing participant. Yep. She thought they thought they were going to be living happily ever after.
That this happened, what was the status of the affair? And I'm talking about February 24th, 2003 at that time.
We were not in a relationship at that point. It wasn't that long that the relationship had stopped, but Juliana at that point had made it clear that we weren't going to be together any longer.
And so what, if anything, did you, when you made the decision to shoot Joe Ryan, did you feel like Christine?
Objection leading.
Sustained.
What did you think when you made the decision to shoot Joe Ryan?
What if anything?
That he was an imminent danger, that he was a threat to he was a threat to Christine, and that was the best way to stop his actions.
I don't know any further questions, John.
All right. If you can have these to your attorney. Your next witness.
You're, I believe,
The remote witness. Is that the
they were the remote witness.
remote witness? All right.
I haven't communicated with him. Per the
No,
court's
he
order.
was prepared to be between 2:30 and 3, so he should be fine. So let's just get him. It just might take a minute or two.
Yes, thank you.
All right. I'm not sure what's going on. This is news to me because I have not seen this. I had seen some things prior to this.
Methodology, critical listening, waveform.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Barrero. This is John Carroll.
Hi, John.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm going to try to start where we left off on the previous testimony. I believe we were talking about your methodology.
Yes, sir.
Now, you reference in your methodology critical listening, waveform, and spectrographic testimony. John Carroll.
Who the hell is this?
Okay, sir.
Yes, I can. Can you
see
hear me?
him?
Yes, sir. All right. Just a reminder that you're still under oath. Okay, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Barrero. This is John Carroll.
Barrero.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm going to try to start where we left off on the previous testimony. I believe we were talking about your methodology.
Yes, sir.
Now, you reference in your methodology critical listening, waveform, and spectrographic analysis.
Yes, sir.
Can you please explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that is?
Yes, so critical listening is just a detailed, repeated auditory review of the evidence. It's using high-quality professional headphones on a forensic workstation and just reviewing the evidence in as detailed a way as possible with the ears. And that normally goes hand in hand with the waveform and spectrographic analysis, which is the visual representation on the screen of the audio that we are hearing through the ears. And the waveform is the squiggly line that everybody's familiar with. The spectrogram includes the frequency or the pitch of the individual frequencies that are present in the file. Instead of just the amplitude of the sound wave in the waveform, you get the amplitude, you get the frequency or pitch also contained within the spectrogram.
And what does a spectrogram show us that our ears might miss?
So the spectrogram separates the sound into its frequency components. And so we'll see the individual frequencies that make up the sound. It's like deconstructing a symphony. You can see the individual instruments as opposed to just the sound altogether. So it really allows us to see through noise and overlapping sounds, and allows us to see audio details that otherwise you wouldn't necessarily be able to hear just with the ears. And it provides an objective measurement to use when we're analyzing an audio recording.
And sir, in your analysis, you discuss fundamental frequency and formants. What are those?
The fundamental frequency is the lowest frequency of a sound. Typically, if we're talking about a vocal sound or a musical sound, the fundamental frequency is what we would consider the pitch of that sound. It's symbolized as F0. It's the lowest formant on the spectrogram, and the formants that accompany that, they're the overtones. They're the resonant frequencies above the fundamental frequency that really gives the whatever the sound is, gives the voice or the instrument the unique sound. Because those formants are created, they are a reflection of the unique shape and physical characteristics of the vocal tract or the instrument itself that created the sound. So the reason you can hear the difference between a piano playing middle C or a saxophone playing middle C, they're both playing the exact same pitch, right? Middle C is a defined pitch, but it's the overtones, or in this case, we're talking about the formants that actually give that sound its unique characteristics that allow you to distinguish the difference between a saxophone and a piano, for example.
And sir, you've received 2 audio files as part of your analysis, correct?
I did.
Okay, so there were 2 items in evidence. One is Commonwealth's exhibit number 1, which was the known 911 call. And we also have defense exhibit number 378, otherwise titled Lily 3, original. Have you reviewed both of
Yes,
those? Now, let's just look at the 911 call first. What, if anything, did you do regarding isolating a specific sound?
So for the 911 call, there's a sound after the dispatcher answers, which is really the only sound that I was concerned with. It's a short recording to begin with, but the sound in question is about 1.4 seconds after. It's a 1.4 second clip after the dispatcher answers the phone, and so I used that 1.4 second clip for the entirety of my analysis of this tape. I didn't do anything else with, like, when the dispatcher answered the phone or the automated voice that comes on the line prior to the dispatcher.
Okay, and was this relating, were you analyzing based upon what you just explained to us, how you got to that 1.4 second clip?
Yes, so on the spectrogram, it's visually very visible in the spectrogram, as well as audible when you listen to it, that there's this sound in that 1.4 second segment. You can see the fundamental frequency at the bottom, the F0, and some distinct formants stacked above it. So that sound was easy to isolate audibly with the ears and easily to isolate visibly in the spectrogram.
And let's move on to the exemplar recording of.
Okay. Who is this person? I think what they're trying to say, or what they're going to try to allude to, is that on the 911 call, Brendan said that Juliana made that call downstairs in the basement, and that sound is the dog, versus her making the 911 call in the bedroom, and that being Joe Ryan. Is this a bone of contention? Does it negate the fact that Joe Ryan is dead and Christine Banfield is dead, and who did it? No. But I guess you've got a whole bunch of targets and you need to dispel everything and answer everything.
The dog, Lily. Lily 3. What did you find
Yes, sir.
regarding the fundamental frequency of that?
So there was a segment of the Lily recording that I also isolated and used for the analysis here. And the fundamental frequency for both the 911 call, that questioned sound on the 911 call, and the segment of the Lily recording, the fundamental frequencies were both in the low 200 hertz range. And then there were formants stacked above those in both recordings as well. And so I isolated each of those and put them side by side to compare not only the fundamental frequency, but also the individual formats that were stacked above that.
And what, if anything, did you do then?
So I found that in both recordings, the fundamental frequency was in the low 200 hertz range, and then I did look at the individual formats above that, and the specific the F1 and F2 formats. So the first two formats above the fundamental in both the Lily exemplar and in the 911 call, those first two formats were the highest amplitude, and then the other formats stacked above that kind of dropped off in amplitude. And they all lined up very well in the spectrogram, meaning the individual frequencies that made up these sounds were consistent from one to the other.
And what, if anything, did you create as a result of that?
So I created what I titled exemplar 911 concatenated.wave. And this was a file that I created using the isolated segments that I just talked about. So the short 1.4 second segment from the 911 call and the segment from the Lily 911, or I'm sorry, the Lily exemplar recording. I placed those side by side. So basically one right after the other in this exemplar concatenated recording so that it could be compared audibly as well as visually in the spectrogram and with your own ears. And so when these two sounds are played back to back like that, you can hear that when they are played back to back, it's a consistent tone. It's a consistent sound that both audibly and visually with these two samples.
And these this concatenated wave exemplar of the 911 and the Lily calls is something that you created based upon Commonwealth Exhibit 1, which is moved into evidence, and Commonwealth and Defense Exhibit 378 that's been moved into evidence?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna hear it.
You're going to move in the concatenated wave as Exhibit 379.
Any objection?
No, ma'am.
379 in evidence?
Your Honor, may I have permission to play?
Sure, do you need assistance? Because
I'm going to try to play. I always need assistance.
well, your laptop's not connected anymore to
Oh.
I have IT
Okay, thank you.
in the
I'm
courtroom
fine,
because,
fine stepping away.
well, yes. Your reputation precedes you, Mr. Carroll.
As a technology person or not?
No comment.
So this one right here, exemplar 911. Okay, and you're bringing attached to the system? I think I am.
Why doesn't he ask this dude? This dude is his IT person / expert. They're paying him to sit there in the courtroom. Good golly.
Okay, it's only a short one.
Just have to move the microphone.
Sir, could you hear that?
Not really well, but I could.
Is there another way to hook into the system? Did you hear that then, sir?
Yes, I can hear it. It's not great quality, but yes, I can hear it.
Sir, when
You're the
you
one that
played
put it
these
together.
two sounds back to back, the known dog sound and the question 911 sound, what did you hear?
So the audio was consistent from one recording to the next. They sounded audibly consistent with each other. And like I said, visually, they were also consistent in the spectrogram.
Now, is it possible to, using all of the tools that you have, to find a moment where the pitch of one sample is consistent with the pitch of the comparison sample, if you have a long enough exemplar?
So it might be possible, given a long enough recording, to find a moment where the pitch or the fundamental frequency matches simply by chance in a long recording. But that would just be one piece of the puzzle. Like I said, with the fundamental frequency, that's just the start of the sound. What really gives a sound its full character are all of the formats or the overtones, like we talked about with separating the sound of a piano with the sound of a saxophone. Those two instruments, if you have a long enough recording, their pitch is going to overlap a lot, right? They could be playing the same note at the same time, but they will never sound the same because of those overtones, because of, in this case, the formats make up the sound. So we're not just simply talking about the single pitch of the fundamental frequency happens to line up at one moment in the recording. We're talking about much more than just a single moment where the pitch matches, but all of the characteristics of the sound are also consistent. So the unique sound of this groan, we'll call it, that comes from those formats, not just the pitch. So So yes, while it is technically possible that you could find a moment in any sufficiently long enough recording with sufficiently variable pitches where two pitches might match, that's really not what was done here. This is looking at the entirety of those two samples for the comparison, not just the pitches happen to cross each other at a moment.
Now, based on your forensic analysis, have you reached a conclusion regarding the unidentified groaning sound on the 911 call and the known recordings of the dog Lily?
Yes, so I can say to a high degree of forensic certainty that the apparent groaning sound on the 911 call is consistent with the dog groaning sounds found in that exemplar recording.
And would your conclusion be any different if you were retained by the prosecution?
No,
Good question.
my conclusion would be exactly the same because my analysis is based strictly on the objective data, the spectrograms and the audio characteristics, not on which party is actually requesting the analysis. I tell everybody that hires me, I'm not an advocate for either side. I'm an advocate for the evidence. So my testimony would be, my conclusion would be exactly the same, no matter which side retain me.
Thank you, sir. Those are all the questions I have. The Commonwealth may have some questions.
Cross-examination?
Yes, sir.
I like that.
Good afternoon, Mr. Barrera. Thank you so much for your time today again. Just a couple of questions for you.
Good afternoon.
Isn't it entirely possible that the sound that we hear in the background of the 911 recording could also have been a human making that noise?
It's possible, yes.
Okay. And you were given a 1 hour and 25-minute long segment of Lily, or sample of Lily, to compare to the 1.4 seconds of 911 call. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and in the approximately 5,100 seconds of Lily groaning, you found what I think I understand to be a 6-second sample that matched. Is that correct?
No, I wouldn't characterize it like that because much of that exemplar, there was no groaning. There was only a few tiny segments in that whole sample where there was any groaning.
Okay, and this was titled Lily 3 audio. We heard the defendant testify that there were as many as 3 different samples created. Were you given samples 1 and 2 to compare?
No, I wasn't.
All right, nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
All right, redirect.
Mr. Barrero, just to be clear, the item Lily 3 was nearly an hour long, correct?
I don't remember the exact time, but yes, it was a much longer recording than the 911 call.
And it was recorded, it was left recording in order to get
Objection
sound.
leading.
Sustained.
Is it fair to say that there were numerous sounds on there, but not a continuous?
Objection leading.
Sustained.
What did you find with regard to the Lily 3 recording?
There was a lot of relative silence, so no real sounds at all, just kind of background noise. There was some barking and whining and other sort of dog sounds, and like I said, just a few groaning sounds in the entire recording.
And when you choose your exemplar for purposes of your forensic analysis, you have specific goals in terms of making it a good comparison, correct?
Yes, so clearly it wouldn't be beneficial to take the time to compare a barking sound with a groaning sound, right? Because those are immediately obviously not consistent with each other. So I specifically was looking for a groaning sound because that's what is audible on the 911 tape.
And no one directed you to the sounds?
Objection leading.
Did anybody direct you to the sounds that you ultimately chose in order to use as a comparison?
No, sir, I was given the entire file and I chose the segment that I used for the comparison.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, your next witness,
Your Honor, the defense rests.
defense rests. All right, why don't we go ahead and take our break? Let's go ahead and take our 15-minute break before we do rebuttal evidence, okay? It's a little early, but that's okay. We'll come back at 3:15, okay? Just don't discuss anything and don't do any outside research, okay?
Da 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 da. We're gonna zoom, zoom, zoom.
Let's give them a chance. Okay.
They rested. So what are we doing now?
Detective Stephen Augustine.
All right.
Oh,
Detective
so,
Augustine?
okay. All right. So the defense rests, right? So now it is rebuttal time, right? So it is the prosecution is able to go ahead and put witnesses back on the stand to go over things that they might have missed or go over things that, go over things that maybe the defense put on, and now they can rebut that information. Okay, here we go.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you.
Who's this dude?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Good.
Can you please state and spell your name for the court record?
Sure. Detective Stephen Augustine, that's Stephen Augustine.
Thank you, Detective Augustine. And can you tell us what it is you do for Fairfax County Police Department?
I've been a law enforcement officer for 24 years, the last 20 of which I've been with the Fairfax County Police Department. The last 12 years I've been a detective, in the technical investigations unit, forensic audio and video section.
Can you tell me about your training and education that led you to forensic audio analysis?
Sure. I possess a master's degree in audio technology as well as a master's degree in
Oh,
forensic science.
dude.
Prior to my career here at Fairfax, I was a full-time instructor at American University in the audio technology department, teaching audio technology, electronics, and digital audio.
Have you previously testified as an expert in forensic audio analysis?
I've testified as an expert in forensic video analysis. I'm not sure if they qualified it as audio and video at the time.
All right. Is there anything about video analysis and your training for video analysis that differs or limits your ability as an audio expert?
No.
All right. Judge, at this time, I'm going to offer him as an expert in forensic audio analysis.
Any objection? Sure.
Definitely, Detective Augustine.
Good afternoon, Mr. Carroll.
Sir, you heard Nick Barrero testify, correct?
I did.
Okay, and in terms of some of the concepts that he was talking about, are you familiar with those?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
And so you've worked with and are you familiar with spectrographic analysis?
Yes.
Okay, and how many times have you worked in that capacity in the audio side of things?
On the audio side of things, for the past 12 years, I've done all of the forensic audio examinations and analysis for the police department.
And does that work, is that related to, and have you used spectrographic analysis in all of them?
No.
Okay, so what are the circumstances where spectrographic analysis is utilized?
In this particular case, he used it to provide a visual representation of what the audio was, what the sound was. So you're able to visualize what the sound is.
And in your 12 years on the police force and working in this capacity, have you done that before?
Spectral analysis?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Is that a tool that's used by people that are audio forensic
Sure.
analysis?
Yes.
Okay. Have you used waveform as a methodology?
Yes. Waveform analysis, yes. I'm familiar with spectrograph analysis as well.
Okay. But you've used waveform. For example, when you're doing what he did on a case, you're using tools. You didn't use spectrographic analysis in any previous case, but
Correct.
waveform.
Yes.
Okay. And so would that be something that you would utilize on a regular basis?
Yes.
Is that something that's crucial to audio analysis?
I wouldn't say it's crucial, but I think it's common across all the forensic audio software.
Now, did you hear him discussing fundamental frequency informants?
I did,
Okay.
yes.
Did you agree with that?
I agree with scientific principles, yes, that he presented.
Now, in your analysis over 12 years, did you use those scientific principles of fundamental frequency informants?
Yes.
Now, in this instance, did you do an independent test regarding these sounds?
I looked at him via the waveform, but I was asked by prosecution to look at his exemplary report and comment on what he had provided.
So there was no analysis done with regard to the known quantities?
There was no further analysis done aside from critical listening.
Okay. Which I don't have an objection to
Critically
you
listened.
as an expert.
All right, so we'll move in as a forensic audio expert.
Thank you. All right. Now that you're an expert, can you tell us about your analysis of the defense work in this case?
Sure. I don't have a copy of the work in front of me, but the first few pages are just stating properties that were used in his examination and his forensic analysis, which include waveform analysis, spectrographic analysis.
And did you draw any conclusions from your review of the materials regarding the likelihood of a, let's call it, match between the Lilly 3 sample and the exemplar from the 911 call?
I did not hear him state that it was a match. He stated in his testimony that it's consistent between the two samples, which I concur, but there's also some further explanation that I think.
What is the further explanation that you think is warranted here?
Would it be possible for me to see a physical copy of the report?
The entire report or just the spectrograph?
Spectrograph is fine.
Judge, if I may approach the witness?
Have you seen this, I assume?
Okay. Well, yeah, he's gonna touch it.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about this. Do you recognize that document?
I do.
Okay, What do you recognize it to be?
This is a concatenation, which is a fancy word for stitching of the two files, the exemplar and the 911 call.
All right. And specifically that type of demonstrative, what is that?
This is a spectrograph, which is what we had discussed.
All right. And that's the spectrograph that was created by Mr. Barrero, the defense expert. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Judge, at this point in time, I would offer that as Commonwealth's. Forgive me, please. Just a moment. Let me get to my exhibits folder. Judge, that would be Commonwealth's 252.
252, any objection? Not hearsay. I'll overrule the objection.
Yeah.
So
that's not
what
hearsay.
observations did you make in your analysis of the defense expert's work?
Sure. If I could clarify,
Foundation.
I can certainly ask some more questions if we need. Let's talk about that piece of evidence specifically. Are you aware of how it was created?
yes,
Okay, can you tell us how it was created?
sure. The gentleman uses isotope audio, which is similar to Digitisign, Pro Tools. There's numerous software companies that have the ability to edit audio files. What he did here, as I stated, is he's using a visual representation of the sound file. So as you can see here, they show the different formats, which he also stated as overtones or harmonics that are present within the sound signals, both sound signals.
All right, Judge, at this time, I would offer Commonwealth's 252 in evidence.
All right. Overruled. All right,
All
252.
right, please continue. What were
Sure.
your observations?
So my initial observations were that in the exemplar, aside from the fact that you had mentioned that there was over 5,100 seconds of audio, there was a 6-second sample that was used from the Lily WAV file compared to the 1.4 seconds that is shown here from the 911 call. Just to explain formats and overtones a little bit further than the other gentleman did, the fundamental frequency, which is the lowest frequency that he stated in this particular case, is 200 hertz. So what you would expect to see if you had a sound, if it wasn't coming from a signal generator or some sort of pure tone that illustrated a perfect sine wave, you're always going to have overtones. For example, in both of these, at this point, at this juncture point, they're both the fundamental tone, or F0, as he referred to, as 200 hertz. What you would expect to find in any sound source minus a pure 200 hertz sine wave is overtones. Where those overtones occur, they occur on multiples. That's what he means when he's referring to formats. So here you have 200 hertz, your F1, your first format, 400, 600, 800. So the fact that two different audio files look similar because they're displaying the same overtones is normal for 200 hertz sound if it's not a pure sine wave. And the other thing that I wanted to illustrate on this, can I fold this?
Please do.
Okay. So at the juncture point where he concatenated or stitched the two audio clips together, if I can demonstrate, if you can see this while I'm talking. This is a 7.5-second clip, the first 6 seconds for his exemplar, the dog, Louie, moaning. This portion, if you can see it, is 1.4 seconds where he took it from the recording. So if I do my best with holding and lining up, I think you can see here, I'm trying to keep it still. Nothing lines up until it gets to that specific point in time. Something else that I noticed that the gentleman didn't mention in his testimony, when listening to his exemplar, the concatenation of the two sound files, there was no delineation between the two files. So I looked at it on waveform analysis and zoomed in on the waveform so I could see if there was any separation between the two files. There was no point that I could see where there was any sort of ending to the first and beginning of the last, which to me would reflect that what was likely used when concatenating the files is what's called a crossfade, an X-fade. So as the first exemplar of the Lily file fades out in volume, the other file, the 911 call, is coming in. So it's almost a mixture of both sounds, which makes it sound like one continuous file. We could listen to it when you hear the groan tail off into the 911 groan.
So what would we have heard differently if he had not used the crossfade?
Best practices, you would have heard a full 6 seconds of the exemplar, which start at varying pitch. There's quite a bit higher than the groan that's represented in the 911 call. And you would hear the point where they separate. And you would hear the two different ones to compare to.
Thank you. Now shift gears here for a second. When were you asked to first examine these sound files?
I believe I received an email from Detective Bryant on September 29th of 2025.
Okay, so approximately a year and a half, almost 2 years after the murders were committed. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So When you were presented with these clips, the 911 clip and the Lily clip, were you given any background information about the 911 clip to further your analysis? Okay. Have you ever had the opportunity to watch any of the recorded statements of Juliana Perez Magalhaes?
No,
Okay. And did you witness her testimony here in this trial?
I did not witness her testimony. It wasn't until yesterday that I was released from viewing or discussing the case.
Okay. So when you performed your analysis of the 911 recording, specifically the hang up, is it fair to say you didn't necessarily know what you were listening to? Absolutely. Did you know what you were listening to?
Sustained.
I knew what case it was affiliated with, yes.
Sorry, say that again for
I
me.
knew what case that it was affiliated with, yes.
Did you know if anyone was expected to speak in that recording? Did you know
No.
what to listen for?
No,
Okay. And how did you perform an analysis of that 911 hang up call? What did you do with it?
I put it into Avid Pro Tools, which is audio software, very similar to Isotope, what the other gentleman was using. And I looked at the waveform, and I did a waveform analysis and critical listening of the files.
And based on the waveform analysis and critical listening, what did you observe?
I observed, well, audibly, I heard the 911 telephone call and the computerized voice that's referred to at the beginning. And the operator asks, "Where is your emergency?" And upon inspection of the waveform, I saw that there were sounds present prior to the groaning sound that is heard on the 911 call.
Okay, so you're indicating in between the cessation of the 911 operator speaking and the beginning of the groaning, you heard something or you saw something.
Correct.
Okay. Did you dig into that?
I did. So what I did is I separated that portion of the audio where I thought I heard something, and essentially in Avid, it's called clip gain. And on that one portion of the 911 call, I was able to raise the volume of what was heard just prior to the groaning.
And were you able to make out a human voice?
I heard what I believe to be a human voice, yes.
And what did the human voice say?
Oh, oh, what did the human voice say? Ooh. I am keeping track of the defense objections as well, but we don't know what he's objecting to because he doesn't go in front of the microphone. Oh boy, are we going to get it? Uh-oh, spinny wheel.
Have any questions? All right, I think we do not have any further questions of you, Detective. Thank you so much. Please answer any questions that council
You're-
have.
Examination.
Oh, dang it. Don't get to hear it. They won that objection. Woo!
Detective
Good
Augustine,
job,
the
Mr.
what
Carroll.
you've just shown is something from my expert's report, and it's a spectrographic analysis. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And you testified previously in the voir dire that you don't even work with spectrographic analysis, correct?
I stated that I'm familiar with spectrographic, but it's nothing that I've done prior.
But you don't use it as a tool in your analysis, correct?
It's a tool that I have available, but I haven't used it in the case.
Okay. And so in terms of best methods, is it appropriate to fold a piece of paper in order to make a comparison as best methods?
I determined that was the best visual way to represent it that would make it understandable.
Okay. And was there any effort at making a presentation to support whatever your conclusions were today, other than folding the paper?
No, this is all I was presented with and instructed to have my comments on.
Okay. As much as I have given Mr. Carroll a very hard time about being prepared, etc., and looking like a clunky lawyer, and them appealing on the fact that he might not have been servicing his client very well, this is great. Where has Mr. Carroll been all this time? Why is he doing? He's great right now. Like, this is the Mr. Carroll I expected from the beginning. Not Mr. Bumbly Bumble. Mr. Carroll, you're doing a great job.
And when were you presented that?
I believe I stated September 29th is when Detective Bryan sent it to me.
So, okay, so let me understand this.
Sure.
So you were just given one picture and asked to make an analysis?
I was given a complete report from the gentleman's forensic analysis, and they reviewed the entire report.
Gotcha. And did you prepare a report?
I did not.
Were you asked not to?
I was not asked to prepare a report. I was asked to comment on his findings.
Would it be best practices in the world that you're in to have prepared a report to something?
I'm going to object. It's argumentative and irrelevant.
Overruled.
Speaking about best practices.
Wait,
would
you
it
should
be
get it
practical
overruled. Hang
in
on.
The world that you're in to have prepared a report to something?
I'm going to object. It's argumentative and irrelevant.
Overruled. Good.
Speaking about best practices, would it have been best practices to create a report with whatever findings that you wanted to tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
If I was instructed to do my own analysis a separate report from this, I would say yes, but as reviewing this as a rebuttal witness, I didn't believe it to be necessary.
But you work for the Fairfax County Police Department.
Correct, sir.
So they could have asked you to do an analysis on your own.
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
You have the capacity to do a full analysis if you were asked, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you recall who got you involved?
Objection, relevance.
A sustained objection.
Was it Detective Bryant?
Objection.
Sustain the objection. Sustain the.
I don't have any further questions,
All
Judge.
right, redirect.
Nothing, Judge. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
There you
Oh,
go, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Carroll,
Thank
come
you. You next
on.
Patrick Smith.
Patrick Smith. Sure.
Oh, dear.
You swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law.
This is his boss. People, remember? She said this yesterday. I think this is his boss. Trying to see where. Oh no, where is it at? Oh shoot. Oh dear, where's it at? I think this is his boss. Da-da-da-da-da. All right. We're just gonna go for it. This is boss. T. Patrick Smith, I believe.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Can you please state and spell your name for the court reporter?
Thomas Patrick Smith, ThomasPatrick
Yep.
Thank you. Can you pull the mic just a little bit closer to you? Thank you. Do you know Mr. Banfield?
I do.
Okay, and in what capacity?
I'm a special agent with Irish Criminal Investigation, and Mr. Banfield was previously employed with Irish Criminal Investigation at my office in Vienna, Virginia.
Directing your attention to February 23rd and 24th of 2024. In that time period, was he your direct supervisee?
2023?
I'm sorry, 2023.
Yes, on February 24th, 2023, I was the acting supervisory special agent for the Vienna group.
All right, and so did Mr. Banfield report to you?
He did at that time, yes.
All right. Was there anyone else that he reported to during that period of time?
Julia Jones was the permanent supervisory special agent, but she was out of the country, and IRS practice is that someone is designated to be the acting supervisor when the supervisor is unavailable. So
All right.
in that particular time, I believe I was the acting supervisory special agent from February 15th through February 24th. Juliet returned on Monday, February 27th.
All right. To your knowledge, was there a meeting scheduled between yourself or with Juliet and Mr. Banfield on the morning of February 24th, 2023?
All right, leading.
Sure.
Sustain the objection.
Did you have any plans for the morning of February 24th, 2023?
I did. I was in Baltimore on an unrelated undercover operation on that morning.
Were you scheduled to meet with Mr. Banfield?
I was not.
And again, I'm sorry, where was Juliet, his other supervisor?
She was out of the country.
Okay. Mr. Banfield testified that he was meeting with his manager. Is there another person that could have been?
As you go up the management chain, we have an assistant special agent in charge. His name is David Meisheimer, and we have a special agent in charge, Kareem Carter. And they were both in, I believe, Georgia at the time. Because
And Georgia, the state, not Virginia.
correct.
Okay. Within your industry, is it commonplace to appear for career? Sure thing.
All right, same.
They are approaching a business meeting that is your industry. Is it commonplace to appear for?
I had to take a small break, so let's back it up just a second.
Meisheimer, and we have a special agent in charge, Kareem Carter. And they were both in, I believe, Georgia at the time. Because
And Georgia, the state, not Virginia.
correct.
Okay. Within your industry, is it commonplace to appear for career? Sure thing.
All right, same. Same.
How does one dress in the IRS when they are approaching a business meeting that is imperative for their success and potential promotion?
Well, we could say that when I have important meetings, I dress in a semi-formal or formal like suit tie, or at least, nice slacks and a shirt.
Would jeans or tennis shoes be acceptable?
I've never worn jeans or tennis or sneakers or tennis shoes for important meetings.
You have to put your microphone on, Mr. Chair. What's your objection?
Objection to the relevance of this. He's indicating what he does.
Overruled.
All right, thank you. Did you speak with Mr. Banfield on the morning of February 24th, 2023?
I did not.
Were you surprised that he wasn't there at 8 o'clock?
Again, I was in Baltimore, so I wasn't there, but I was surprised when I received the phone call indicating that Mr. Banfield had discharged his weapon and there were two deceased persons, which, as you would imagine, that
triggered many responsibilities as the acting supervisory special agent too.
Understood. Just as a law enforcement professional trained by the IRS, do you share your gun safe code with your family members?
Objection, Your Honor. It's not
Oh.
relevant to this
Sustain the objection.
All right, thank you. Nothing further. Please answer any questions.
Oh my God. Do you share your gun safe code? I didn't think that was going to go. All right. I'm laughing. Let's just back it up just for a second.
Understood. Just as a law enforcement professional trained by the IRS, do you share your gun safe code with your family members?
Objection, Your Honor. It's not relevant and it's not.
Sustain the objection.
All right, thank you. Nothing further. Please answer any questions council might have for you.
Cross-examination.
I'm sorry, sir. Tell me your name again.
Special Agent T. Patrick Smith.
Okay. And you were, as I understand it, you were the special agent in charge while Juliet Jones was gone out of the country?
No, I was the acting supervisory special agent.
Okay. And so that was something that she put you in charge of or someone higher than that?
I believe she was able to designate, but I would have to check for sure. But I'm sure she had upper management approval for who she designated as the acting supervisory special agent.
Okay. So so you said something like what happened where he discharged his firearm and there were 2 people dead. That caused a lot of work for you?
When I was informed by the Fairfax County detective as the acting supervisory special agent, that one of the agents in the group had discharged his weapon and there were 2 deceased persons, then yes, we had to contact upper management, which I did. We had to process the Treasury Inspector for Tax Administration, which we call TIGTA, is essentially our internal affairs. They have to be notified. They do an investigation to determine if the discharge of the weapon was appropriate.
Okay. I guess my question was it extra work for you?
Was it extra work for me?
Isn't that what you just said to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that when this situation arises, it becomes a great deal of work for the person who's the acting special agent?
Well, yes, I had to make several phone calls. I had many conversations with people that I would not have had if there hadn't been.
Okay. Now, did the Fairfax County Police know that you were the acting special agent in charge?
I can't really speak what Fairfax County Police knew, but I did speak with the detective from Fairfax County Police.
Who was the detective you spoke to?
I don't recall the detective's name.
Did you ask him his name?
I knew it at the time. As we speak now, I don't recall.
So there was no report to the people that you called and people that you told about
Objection
this?
calls for speculation.
Overruled. You can answer it.
There was no report that you created to talk about this situation, which made a lot of work for you, where you would put in the detective's name?
I definitely provided that information to upper management, and if I could access my emails, I'm sure that's in there.
So in your capacity, did you stay within the Vienna office after that when Juliet Jones came back?
Did I stay?
Yeah, were you still in the Vienna office when?
I currently am still in the Vienna office.
Okay, so from that time until now, you're still in the Vienna office.
Yes, that's my permanent post of duty. I was there before that day as well.
Now, there were 6 people that were interviewed relating to TIGTA interviews. Actually, I'm sorry, there were 8 people that were interviewed. Do you know the name David Meisenheimer?
Yes, he was the assistant special agent in charge.
Were you aware that he was interviewed by Detective Vesser of Fairfax County?
I don't
Okay.
necessarily know, but
Do you know Lawrence Flagg?
I do. He's another agent who was assigned to the Vienna POD on that time.
Okay, and were you aware that he was interviewed as well by Detective Vesser?
I believe he told me he was interviewed. I don't know if he disclosed the name of the detective.
Now, do you have team assignments in terms of the IRS?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Is there someone named Carrillo that has a team in the Vienna office?
Carrillo?
Yes.
I don't recognize the name. Can you spell it? Maybe it's the pronunciation.
Carrillo.
I don't recognize that name.
Okay. Would it surprise you that Juliet Jones, who actually wasn't even there on that day, was interviewed by the Fairfax County Police Detective Vesser?
It would not surprise me that Julie Jones was interviewed. She was the
Okay.
supervisory special agent.
Now, Detective Carter from the Fairfax County Police, did you have contact with him?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, there were interviews conducted by him to Bernarda Jackson, special agent?
Objection, counsel's testifying. He's asked a question.
Overruled. Go ahead.
Bernarda Jackson is another agent in the group, yes.
Okay. And did you know that she was interviewed relating to my client's case?
I can't recall if she told me that or not.
Okay. How about Richard Daniels, who's a special agent?
Yes, he's another.
You know that Detective Carter had interviewed him about my client's case?
I think Special Agent Daniels did mention that, yes.
Okay. And Philip Hammond, do you know that person?
Yes, I know Special Agent Hammond.
And did you know that he was interviewed by Fairfax County Police Detective Carter relating to my client's case?
I believe he also told me he'd been interviewed, yes.
Okay. So you knew about that?
Yes.
Okay. And so when you heard all these other people were being interviewed, did you ever say, well, hold on, I was the special agent in charge for a period of February 13th to February 24th?
February 15th.
February 15th to February 24th. You didn't raise your hand and say, what about me?
I did.
And so they chose not to interview you?
I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I was out of town the week that the interviews took place in our office.
Oh, so you're aware of these interviews. What week did that occur?
I'd have to look at my calendar. My best guess, the other things that you have it, is March 2024.
Okay. How about Detective Lynch from Fairfax County interviewing Justin Williams, a special agent?
Justin Williams is another agent in the group.
Did you know he was interviewed?
I think he told me he was.
Okay. And these would have been, other than Juliet Jones, these would have been people who were subordinate to you, correct?
At the time I was acting supervisor special agent, technically, yes. I mean, I view them as coworkers who are all special agents.
Okay. So you're all on the same line unless you get dubbed the acting special agent.
Correct.
Okay. And finally, Kevin Farley, do you know him?
I do. He's another agent in the group.
Okay. And the interviews that were conducted were relating to relationships of Brendan Banfield. Did you hear about that?
I did not.
Marriage problems with Brendan Banfield. Did you hear about that?
I did not.
Rumors that were going around in the IRS. Did you hear about that?
What rumors?
In the context of these interviews, they were being asked if there were rumors.
I have no recollection of being told of that now.
They were talked to, the individuals were all spoken to about schedules that occurred in the Vienna office. Did you know about that?
An interview that I was not present at, I don't know what was discussed.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I mean, you were the special agent in charge.
I was not when these interviews
Objection,
occurred.
argumentative.
Sustained, next question.
Okay. Now, there was discussions in these interviews about the types of cases that everybody worked.
Objection, speculation.
Sustained, next question.
Do you know what these interviews were about?
I do not know what occurred in an interview I was not present at. No.
Okay. So you were there and for 2 weeks in that capacity, correct? 15th to the 24th.
Again, I was the acting supervisor special agent for the Group 1 of the Washington, D.C. field office from February 15th, 2023 to February 24th, 2023.
And in that, you're coming in here to this courtroom in that capacity to tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury that, I guess, there are issues with that you dress a certain way. Is that right? When you're going to the office?
Are you asking me how I dress when I go to the office?
Well, no, you've already testified to that, but you're here testifying. And one of the things that you said is that you dressed in a different way than what was described of my client when he was going to the office.
Okay, listen. I can appreciate a couple of things. I can appreciate he's going after this person. Where were you, Mr. Carroll, in the beginning and all throughout this trial? I appreciate you going after him. But get to the point. All these people have been interviewed. Are they supposed to be, did they say something different than what he's saying? I'm confused. Are you confused?
On February 24th.
That is correct.
Okay. And you indicated you were in an undercover operation, correct?
I was assisting with an unrelated undercover operation in Baltimore, Maryland.
And undercover operations have its own command staff outside of the Vienna office, isn't that right?
I don't know that I would characterize it like that.
Okay. Are there undercover command staff that handle undercover operations that aren't in the people that I just listed off to you that were interviewed?
I'm unclear in your terminology, but yes, there are people who, we have a whole special investigative techniques group that's involved with undercover operations.
And they would be the people that if you have an undercover operation and you're talking to an undercover person, that you would be working with them, correct?
Not really, no.
Okay. In your undercover operations, when you're interviewing an undercover operative, do you into the office to talk?
I don't interview undercover agents. I'm confused. I'm a lead tech agent for the Washington, D.C. field office. So the traditional undercover operation where they get wired up and they have equipment and they're covertly recorded, that is my job. So I'm involved with that and then preserving for the chain of custody the evidence that's obtained during that meeting.
What about undercover operations that deal with other issues, relating to IRS criminal investigations?
Judge, objection is to form. I don't think the question makes any sense.
Right.
What about undercover operations that would deal with specific areas of criminal fraud? How are they handled?
I've only been involved with undercover operations conducted by IRS criminal investigation.
Okay.
And they've virtually all involved fraud. So.
And so the undercover operations that other people do, are they different than what you're within the IRS?
Judge, objection is to relevance. I'm not sure where we're going with this at this point.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get to the background, get to his background. Judge.
I'm going to sustain the objection. Next question.
Now, sir, would you have known where Lawrence Flagg was on the 24th of February, 2023?
I do because he told me.
Okay, were you keeping track of him otherwise?
Yes, we were in regular contact throughout that day.
Okay, and that was because of the incident that occurred at the Banfield house, correct?
Correct.
Prior to the incident happening, would you have been in contact with Lawrence Flagg on a regular basis?
Can you define regular basis?
Well, you tell me, how often do you have contact with him?
He's an agent in the group. As a regular agent in the group, I would see him probably whenever we're both in the office. As a supervisor, I would have contact with him as needed.
And so how many times did you have contact with him as a supervisor during that week?
I cannot recall the days before February 24th, 2023, but on February 24th, 2023, I had many phone conversations with Lawrence Flagg.
Okay, I don't have any further
All
questions.
right, redirect.
Who is Lawrence Flagg?
Okay, just for clarification, was Lawrence Flagg Mr. Banfield's supervisor?
No,
Okay, and Mr. Banfield testified that he had a scheduled meeting with his manager. That would have been yourself or Juliet Jones, is that correct?
those are the only two people that I can that have been his manager. Yes.
Okay, and she was out of the country and you were in Baltimore and not planning on meeting him, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's enough, thank you, Judge.
All right, so you're free to go.
Judge, may I ask one more question?
No, sir. You're done. All right, you're free to go. All right, you're next, please.
Can I ask one more question? No, sir. Now, in Karen Reed's case, they were allowed to do that. And here she's like, no, you had your opportunity. You're done.
Commonwealth rest.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Commonwealth has arrested the rebuttal evidence. So in other words, you have heard all the evidence you're going to hear in this case. So what I'm going to do, we have some housekeeping matters to take care of. So what I'm going to do is release you early today. And what we'll do is when we come back at 10 a.m. tomorrow, you will hear closing arguments and the case will be handed over to you, okay? All right,
All right. We did it. Yay. Hang on. I think there's a sound cue on here. Let's see. Where is it at? Hang on. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Applause. Yay. There's a gong. Oh, gavel. Yes. Yay. All right. That's it, folks. All the evidence is in the Brendan Banfield case. So we're going to stop this one. I'm going to post this one. Yay, it's a short one. And then we're going to go into closing arguments, which were really, really good. And then we'll do the verdict and everything else. And then we're done. But I told you the end was going to be very spicy because this prosecutor, she done. She's like, okay, I'm done with Mr. Carroll's shenanigans. I'm just going to call him out and everything. And we're going to try to move this along quicker than it actually is. Was she successful? She was. Oh, I forgot to tell you. All right. At the end of this, she had, okay, there's 10, 15, she had about 21 objections, and he had 8 objections. She had 21. All right, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe if you want to hear more about this and or other things going on in the world. Thank you. Thanks for watching Legalese 1, 2, 3. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe for more content.